you were, before you did. That's why it felt like you were under attack, before you even knew what you were carrying. You were marked early, not by people, but by purpose. And the enemy saw it. He saw it before you did. That's why the abuse happened. That's why the betrayal hurt so much. That's why you were left out, overlooked, misunderstood. Because hell knew, if you ever discovered who you really were, you'd be dangerous. So the enemy started planting lies before you could even form your identity. Lies like, something's wrong with me. I'll never be enough. I deserve what happened to me. But you didn't deserve it. You were just marked. Marked for something holy, something heavy, something eternal. And that's why it hurt so deep. You weren't just targeted physically. You were attacked emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Because Satan couldn't kill your calling, so he tried to confuse it. He twisted your wounds into weapons, made you believe your story was shameful, when really it was sacred. And the thing is, you might still be carrying some of that pain, the kind of pain that doesn't always show on your face, but lives quietly in your soul. But hear me, the pain wasn't proof you were cursed. It was proof you were chosen. You didn't imagine it. The way people treated you differently, the way your heart always felt things deeper than others, the way you never really fit in, that wasn't coincidence. That was resistance. Spiritual resistance to your anointing. But the world doesn't teach you that. The world calls it sensitivity or emotional instability, maybe even too dramatic. But God calls it discernment. He calls it prophetic design. He gave you a heart that could feel the shift in the room, because one day you'd be the one called to shift the room, young and unprotected. That sensitivity feels like a curse. So, what do? You try to shut it down. You numb it. You silence it. You do whatever you can to survive it. That's trauma. That's what it does. It teaches you to abandon your true self just to feel safe. It teaches you to shrink in order to be loved. It teaches you to wear masks until you forget what your real face looks like. But God never forgot. Even when you didn't feel seen, even when you questioned if you mattered, even when you almost gave up, He saw you. He never left. And He's not intimidated by what broke you, because He still remembers the version of you that existed before the pain, before the lies, before the labels, before the walls. And that's who He's calling back now. That separation you felt, it wasn't punishment, it was protection. Because God wasn't trying to isolate you to break you. He was setting you apart to build you. You were never meant to blend in. You were never supposed to look like everyone else. That ache you felt growing up, like you didn't belong, like your presence was always too much for the room. That wasn't rejection. That was redirection. The pain, the loneliness, the fact that you always saw things others couldn't, that wasn't a flaw. It was training. God didn't let you get comfortable in rooms that couldn't hold your future. So yes, you've cried. over people who walked away. You've questioned why certain relationships fell apart. You've wrestled with the silence that followed. But what you didn't realize is that God was pruning your life to make room for the weight of what you carry. And when you carry something holy, it's going to cost you. Not everyone can walk with you. Not everyone can understand you. Not everyone is supposed to. You weren't rejected because you were weak. You were rejected because you were marked. And some people couldn't handle the call on your life, so God let them fall off, so you could finally stand up. It's okay if you still feel broken. It's okay if you're still healing. God's not waiting for the perfect version of you to show up. He's calling the real you to come home, the one He knit together in the womb, the one who laughed freely before life taught you to be afraid, the one who used to dream before the world made you feel small. You've been through a lot, and I know it's been heavy, but you're not here by accident. That calling you've been trying to shake, that weight in your chest when you hear truth spoken, that sense that something inside you is waking up again, that's God, not a feeling, not emotion. That's His Spirit reminding you you're still marked, you're still chosen, and He's not done writing your story. This isn't the end, it's the return. So take a breath. You're not behind, you're right on time. Because the same God who allowed the breaking is the same God who's calling you back to purpose. And you don't have